Lesbian Detectives. Unsolved cases. She's still missing. Yeah, they haven't found her yet. Well, let's talk about it.
They say he vanished without a trace. Could it be a psychotic break or a tragic accident? Police don't know where the body went. Unsolved murders, body still missing. That's unheard. Where's the witness? Lesbian detectives, what's going on? City on high alert, this out the norm. He did what, the who? Man, that ain't real, these crimes ain't true. Then come uncover these theories with us. We live right now, tuning in is a must.
Right now. Lesbian Detectives. Lesbian Detectives. We about to start the show, so get your popcorn ready, let's go. Pay attention to the message I present to you, the Lesbian Detectives.
This is Lesbian Detectives. I'm Sierra.
And I'm Elizabeth.
And we are here talking about missing and unsolved murders.
We are discussing cases that you have forgotten about or never even heard of.
So sit back, relax, and let's start this podcast. So this case right here was actually suggested in our comments, and I have never heard of this case before. So when I saw it, I was like, let me look into it. And when I looked into it, I was like, wow. And we have to do this case right here. So thank you for the person who suggested this case.
Yes, thank you so much.
Today's case is about a young girl that had a medical issue, but she didn't let that stop her. She was the happiest little girl ever. She went missing outside of her home on September the 4th, 1998. It has been over 25 years since she went missing. And this is the case of Kemmia Shy Pate.
Okay.
So during the story, I'm going to call her Shy because that was her nickname. And I think it's the cutest little nickname ever. I love the nickname Shy.
It reminds me of Shy Guy from Mario.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
It's the little red one with the white mask.
So we both know I don't play Mario. Guys, I really don't. Sorry. Shy was born on October the 29th, 1989. From her early on, she was described as a playful, independent, outgoing, sweet, and happy child. She had just started the 3rd grade at Unadilla Elementary School. Shy is a tough little girl. She has severe asthma, and at this time, she required at-home treatment.
Okay.
Shy suffered multiple medical conditions. One of her kidneys was undeveloped from birth. She had a weak bladder. A week prior to her disappearance, she had an asthma attack that landed her in the hospital.
I think the weak bladder comes with age, though. Because I had a strong bladder. And now it's like with age, you notice the differences.
Once you have a child, like you sneeze, this is over with.
Like you know that you're old when you get up at night and have to go to use the restroom.
Man, for real.
I didn't have that problem whenever I was younger, but TMI, I'm sorry, guys.
In 1998, because of her bladder problem, Shy had to wear a pillow, which was designed for potty training. Otherwise, she would have to go to the bathroom every 10 to 15 minutes.
Wow.
She was often fatigued, and she had to wear a leg brace due to her displaced kneecap. Despite all this, she was a happy little girl. She didn't let that get her down.
Good.
And that's one thing I feel like I would take from her from this case is like she had all these issues, but she didn't care. She didn't let it stop her. And when I read her story and I saw that, I was like, man, I be complaining about the smallest thing. But this little girl, she didn't complain.
She was a fighter for sure.
Right. The family lived across the street from the Roxy Club, a nightclub where people often spend their time on the porch drinking and playing games. The Roxy Club tended to bring a rougher crowd.
Okay.
Ooh. The last week of August in 1998, Shy, she suffered an asthma attack that ended her up in the hospital. However, by Friday, September the 4th, She was back as her usual playful self. Shasha spent the late afternoon and early evenings playing outside. She was wearing a neon green Braves jersey where the word Braves is written in red letters, black or blue jeans, and white K-Swiss tennis shoes. That evening, she was planning to go to the high school football game in a neighborhood town. Her older sister, 17-year-old, was on the drill team and needed to be there. Shasha's older sister also needed to put gas in her car before heading out. She decided to go fill up her car and then she would swing back and get her little sister.
Okay.
When she was getting in the car, she saw Shasha sitting on the family front porch. The sisters waved at each other. Years later, her sister will recall, quote, "I was just going to get gas and come back and get her. I wish I had stopped," end quote. When her sister returned a few minutes later, Shasha was gone. That was the last time Shasha was ever seen, but other reports say that people saw her later on. So it's kind of wishy-washy when the last person saw her.
Okay.
It seemed like she was last seen around 7:30, although a few newspapers say that she was seen by a neighbor around 8:20 p.m. So sometime between 7:30 and 8:20, that was the last time that anyone has ever seen Shasha. By all accounts, Shasha was last seen at her home, just a few yards away. When Shasha's older sister came back and saw that Shasha was gone, she didn't panic at all. It was a small town, and she just assumed that Shasha would got to ride with another friend.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't really be worried if she was at her home. If she would have left her at a public place, yes, but I would have assumed, oh, she went inside.
Her sister said it was a small town, so like everybody knew everybody. So it wasn't not normal for her sister to catch a ride with somebody. So that's why she didn't like freak out. She's like, oh, she caught a ride with somebody. I just see her like later.
Have you been to the country
I'm from the country.
where everybody waves at each other?
Yeah, like when I was like younger, yeah, we did that. But now it's not the same. Like it's more houses like where like.
Not like the country.
Yes, I was country. I used to go to school with kids used to go hunting in the morning time and come to school the same day. Like they tell you like, oh, I killed a buck today. I'm like, what's a buck? Like they used to come with a like camouflage.
I used to think it was like $1 bill. Shit.
Right.
I'd be like, I kill those all the time.
Right. I wish I did it. Kids are expensive. As her sister arrived to the game and no one had seen Shasha, panic started to set in. Her sister would tell us years later, quote, "I got home from the game. When I didn't see Shasha, I asked my mom, where was she at? And she said she wasn't home," end quote. The family began searching for Shasha, still assuming that she just skipped the game and was with a friend. But as more and more people haven't seen her in hours, the panic really started to reach its threshold. Around 10 o'clock, when the family still haven't heard from her, they went right to the police station. But you know what the police told them? I feel like you already know.
I already know. Oh, give it some time. She probably is going to come back in a few hours. It's not a big deal. She's partying.
I mean, she was like in third grade. What party she really going to?
Girl, I don't know, but
But you know what the family did?
they kept looking for her.
No, they were like, no, you're going to file this report.
Oh, okay.
They
good.
was on there, but like, no, we don't believe none of that. Let's file this. And they actually did. The police really did.
Good.
Once the police start taking this seriously, a massive search is launched, starting at the family home and spanning outwards towards the neighborhood. But the police was already hours behind Shasha and her abductor. Police first zero in on the Rossi Club during the canvass. So we all know the Rossi Club was like the big hangout.
Okay.
They assumed that one of the patron who was roughly set out at the porch would have seen little Shasha in her neon green shirt. No one has seen or heard anything.
Okay.
Police are able to rule out her father very quickly because he was serving time.
Oh, wow. That's a good alibi.
Right, the best one to have. Like I wasn't, you can see I was in my jail cell.
Exactly.
Her dad, Chris Foster, still tried to help investigate her in any way that he could. answering any questions and giving a lot of information that he had. He quoted, "That's my baby. That's my heart. We were like more than fathers and daughters. We were best friends." End quote. Over the next week, police will launch helicopter, deploy ATV, and send out every available officer to search the neighborhood.
As they should.
Right. Neighbors, they was with the police. They searched too. They even let the police search their homes.
Wow.
That's a good neighborhood right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Because nowadays, they not going to let that happen.
And this was all the same day, correct?
No, like over the couple of days, over the next week.
Oh, okay.
They want to do anything they could to bring Shy Shy home. The FBI got involved quickly in this case. And quickly, they searched for Shy Shy. It became the largest search in their county history. Neighbors in her elementary school tied pink ribbons to the trees and the doors to show support to her family and friends.
Aww.
To this day, Veronica, Shy Shy's mother, has a pink ribbon hanging on the door. By September 11, 1998, Shy Shy has been missing for a week at this point. A $15,000 reward has been offered for information leading to her safe return home.
That's so sad.
Although the mom tied a pink ribbon
Yeah.
to this day, that is sad. Like,
She's not losing hope.
she's not, and she's still fighting to this day. And like,
That's dedication.
I don't even know how she could do it. Like, that's, whew. As
Yeah.
a mother,
Yep.
I give her a round of applause. The sheriff department said, "We've been down every road and even every dirt road. We walked back into the woods, searched there, but we still didn't find anything. We never seen anything like this." Investigator next moves to bring cadaver dogs in to search, but they didn't find anything either. Later that month, on October 29th, that day should have been filled with celebration because it was Shy Shy's 9th birthday. It's another painful memory that time is moving on, and each day is another day without their precious daughter and sister. After those first weeks of investigation, leads began to dry up on the case. Investigators are pulled off until only a few remain.
Oh, man.
I thank the Lord every day that we haven't got a phone call telling us that she been found dead. I feel in my heart that she's still alive. The investigator revealed that they haven't got any tips on Shy Shy case in years.
Wow.
So somebody from Las Vegas called the police department and said that in a nearby apartment, a man moved in with a little girl that looked just like Shy Shy. But after police investigate, it wasn't her. A few years later, a farmer called police saying that he found a suspicious mound at the edge of his land. He thought it could be a grave, that it could be Shy Shy. When the police started digging, all they found was yard red clay. That was the last tip that the police has ever gotten on this case.
That's crazy. How everybody was coming forward, even the smallest things, which are greatly appreciated. But there was so much unity in this community. And all they were trying to do was try and get Shy Shy home.
One plausible suspect was a neighbor. His name was Kendrick. He was 18 years old when Shy Shy went missing. He was a friend of the family and once was one of the last people to see her before she went missing. As a middle school student in 1994, Kendrick had pleaded guilty to raping a classmate.
Oh, wow.
In 2001, at the age of 20, he was charged in multiple counts of rape, kidnap, and burglary.
Why was he not in jail?
So, I don't know if y'all heard of Murder with My Husband. It was one of her recent case that she covered, and they could have been solved the case. Like, this man, he raped a young child, was a teenager, and then they let him go. And then he
That's
went
sad.
on and did other crimes, burglary. He beat and harassed his wife, and went on like for years. It took a long time to get him. And they finally got him. They barely charged this man, and then he got back out of jail. That's what I'm saying. They get the person, and like, oh no, I'm not gonna charge him, or they let him go completely, or they get a maximum of 2 or 3 years or good time served.
I believe they need to take rapes more seriously. The length of time that they're serving compared to the crime, I feel like is not enough. Actually, there is one state I believe I read, I'm not sure which state, but they're wanting to castrate
Yeah.
anyone who rapes. And I'm sorry, but to me, like, that is one of the, it's just as bad as killing because you're taking, it's almost like you're taking their life, but in a different way because you change it in such a drastic way. It's trauma that they have to live with for the rest of their lives, especially if they're kids. Like, no one should ever experience rape, or nobody's entitled to take anybody else's life.
Right. And I agree. I feel like something else that people really need to take serious, the police, is stalking.
Yes.
Because the woman they will tell you, like, until he do something illegal, we can't do nothing about it. And that's so sad because a lot of women, I'm going to say, and men too, they get killed by their stalker. And then you see all these paperwork that they got, like, hey, he did this, he did this, he did this. And they don't do nothing, like, well, he haven't done nothing illegal yet.
Right.
Do you want him to come and kill me? And then you're like, oh, okay, he did something illegal. No, it shouldn't get that far for somebody to lose their life for you to care.
Exactly.
Stalking has got so bad. It's so many cases I see on TikTok that girls saying, like, hey, I went to police department and they said, oh, they have no case. Like, they can't figure out anything. Like, she could say, hey, this is a person's name, address. They're like, oh, well, he hasn't did anything dangerous yet, so we can't really do anything.
I mean, I believe people should have the right to say, look, I don't want this person within a certain distance of myself. At the end of the day, I believe that should be a right. And you don't have to, I don't feel like you should go through all the obstacles presented to get that right. But yeah, they should be taken because the preventative measure is so much more effective than the worst case scenario, which is that person being gone, especially if they leave a family behind, kids. The stalker's not going to be there for them.
Also, it's like when they do have all the paperwork and they take it to court, it's so hard to get a protection order for them. And then the person don't even care. Like, forget it. I still, like, mess it up. I feel like if they go against the protection order, they should go to jail for some years. Do some time.
Exactly.
Because you used to be like, oh, let's give them a warning. Why we keep giving them warnings?
No, we're past warnings. If we had to go through all these measures, file a restraining order, we're past warning.
Way past
Way
it.
past warning.
No, we passed warning when she said, no, leave me alone. Or he said, no, leave me alone.
Exactly.
We passed that. She already set her boundaries and we should be able to accept that. And I feel like sometimes people feel entitled, like, oh, she doesn't mean no. Like, it was just one on TikTok. We love TikTok. Don't judge us, guys. And this guy was interviewing a lot of guys. And he said, how many times do a woman have to say no for you to believe her?
Wow.
And it wasn't, only one guy said one time. All of them said, until I feel like she means it. Until like she says it like 5 or 6 times. If she says it one time, that should be the only time she have to say no.
That's why that saying came in. No means
No.
no. I feel like some guys, when they're hitting on women, they think that the woman likes that, but they don't.
We don't. Sorry, we don't.
It's kind of like, go away. I'm trying to not be rude, but I'm not interested. And they just like think they're like the biggest player out there and they got game and they can do anything they set their mind to. Not with everyone, honey.
Right. And it's just sad. Like, one thing, as a parent, I'm already teaching my daughter how to defend herself. She's 1, but we're going to put her in classes where she can defend herself. Yes. But it's like, I hate when kids go to school and a little boy pull her hair or something like that. Oh, that means that he like her. No, that's abuse.
Exactly.
Don't tell my daughter that. You teaching your son that if he put his hands on a girl, that means he likes her or he loves her. No, that means you weak.
That is not a way a kid should be treated, or anyone should be treated. If you put your hands on somebody, you're disrespecting them.
Right. Because the podcast, A Simple True Crime, she deal with a lot of DV cases. And I have listened. I'm like, Jesus, if they just listened to these women, they wouldn't be where they at. One lady she covered, we don't even know where she's at. We know that ex-husband did it, but we don't even know where he's at. Like, we don't have no body. We have, like they always say, no body, no crime. It's hard to convince somebody that this person is murdered or just missing with no body. But you see this person getting abused a lot, you can see it.
Communication is key, honestly, and I feel like a lot of relationships don't work out or things get escalated is because of misunderstandings.
Right.
And it all starts with one simple thing: communication. If you hear somebody say no, no means no. Move on.
Right. Speak. I mean, sorry for the
Long delay, yeah.
long delay, guys. I mean, we feel very
Passionate about
because
stuff like this.
we know a lot of people that goes through stalking and DV. Not a lot of people, I don't want to say that, but we know people, personally, me, I know people that went through stalking and DV.
Oh, wow.
So it's a sensitive subject for us.
You have to set your deal breakers. When you start a relationship, maybe we should start a relationship podcast.
Right.
When you start a relationship, set your boundaries, set your deal breakers. For you, I set mine, which were no cheating and do not put your hands on me.
Right.
And none of it has happened, so we're still together.
I forgot mine. But it's like something my grandmama told me. And I would teach my child this, and I hope she teach her kids this.
Shout out to grandma.
Shout out grandmama. She said, if a man is play fighting with you, or he like do something a certain way that you don't like, or hit you, she said, hit his ass back. That's what she told me. Hit him back and hit him harder to show him like, don't put your hands on me. I'm not weak. And that will show that man like, oh, I can't do that, because he play fighting with you, hitting you. He like, oh, okay. She's not doing nothing.
He's testing
you. But
or she, you know,
okay, because
they're testing you.
So it's showing them that you're not weak. Like, you have, strength.
Yeah, you're setting your boundaries.
And I did that in a relationship. This person put their hands, like, try to, like, play fight with me. I punched them. And they ever put their hands on me again? They're like, oh, like, I didn't mean. It's always, oh, like, why you do that? I didn't mean like that. We shouldn't play fighting. Because in our relationship, we don't play fight. We do not play fight. I told her right up, oh, those my boundaries. Play fighting. Because I feel like play fighting can lead to a serious fight. And I don't want that.
Right.
So, sorry for the long thing. I'll put a time on here for you guys so you can skip ahead. But I hope you don't skip ahead
My wife has ADHD, and I sometimes go down the rabbit hole with her.
As a middle school student in 1994, Kendrick pled guilty for raping a classmate. In 2001, at the age of 20, he was charged with multiple counts of rape, kidnapping, burglary, aggressive assault, aggressive sodomy, and aggressive robbery in connection with 5 separate attacks on girls between the ages of 11 and 18.
Wow, he fits the description. That was going to be my next question. Were they minors?
3 was actually rape and 2 was actually attempted rape.
Wow.
And most of the attack, Kendrick would enter the victim home via a window during the night and kidnap, sexual assault them. Kendrick pled guilty to 18 count. In 2002, he was sentenced to 3 consecutive terms of life in prison. It is not clear whether he was a suspect in Shy disappearance, but her mother does not believe that he was involved.
Wait. Did I hear you right? Shy's mother didn't think it was him?
She didn't believe it was him at all.
Why? What was her understanding?
I don't know. She just said she doesn't believe it was him.
She knew him?
She knew him. He was a neighborhood friend. He was a friend of the family.
Oh, God. Okay.
Shy is described as an outgoing child who loved skating in new clothes. In 1999, she was involved with her family in church. After her disappearance, her mom moved away into a new area in Georgia. Her case still remains unsolved. When recording this has been over 25 years since Shasha's abduction. And the National Center of Missing Exploited Children have released a age progression photo of Kemmia, what she would look like at the age of 34. And this is the case of Kemmia Shashai Pace. And let's get into some theories.
Let's get into some theories.
So, you or me? Who going first?
I'll go first. I have a question.
Okay.
Did the police interview him?
No, I have not seen it.
He's the only one that fits the description.
Yes. And okay, I'm shouting out the person. I got my phone out. I'm shouting the person out that got this case. Is Geeks Too Funny.
Nice.
So I'm shouting you out for this case because this case was amazing. You asked for another case, and that's on this way too.
Thank you.
When I read this case, I never heard it. It doesn't seem like a lot of people know about this case. So, I mean, I did it. So, and I love true crime. So it's like a shock for me too.
Yeah.
When I heard about him, because I listened to a couple podcasts and nobody really brought him up. But when I was doing my research, when I saw that, I was like, hold up. You telling me that he already was raping in middle school? And when he was 18 years old, he knew Shashai.
That was a psychopath in the making.
Right. And he was, just think about it, he was middle school raping a little girl.
Yeah.
And then when he turned 20, he did all those rapes. You telling me that he started from middle school to 20? No, and he was 18 years old when he knew Shashai. And then that's when her sister said this line. She said her sister would have went with somebody she know. So what if like she's waiting on her sister? He would like roll up like, hey, come on. And she like, no, like I'm waiting on my sister. He like, no, come on, let's go. And she would have went because she knows him.
Right. Before you mentioned him, I was going to say it was such a small town. Everybody knew everybody. And I was going to say she was going to go with somebody that she knew, she trusted. And the thing about it is, if the mom still has that perception of him that he's safe, then Shy with more reason would have been like, oh, okay. If I hear, I don't play about this. I'm sorry. I'm so, like, something that really just brings me to the edge is when people assault children, especially. Sexually assault, murder them, like whatever. Like it really just breaks my heart.
Right.
It's something that I feel like nobody should play with or nobody should mess with.
Right.
But if I hear that you hurt children in any way intentionally, because I get accidents happen, I'm never looking at you the same way and you are not allowed to be a part of my life anymore. So I just want to know what her reasoning is. I understand. I mean, it's like, I can't wrap my head around it. 5 charges.
Right.
And those are the ones that he got caught.
It could be more.
Exactly. And he still didn't learn his lesson.
Well, he's in jail now, so he learned his lesson. He got life.
Okay, good. Like he's behind bars, but it took how many people, how many victims before they took it serious?
Right.
It shouldn't have costed anyone else's life after his first one.
Because I'm thinking, because I like to see the whole case. With him, it's like, okay, his first victim, she was alive. And it seemed like he never killed his victim. But people say, well, if he hurt Shasha, he was the one that took her, where is she? Is she dead? Like, assume she's dead. If he did it, she's 34 years old now. And I'm thinking about, she had so many medical issues.
Yeah.
And she had severe asthma that landed her in the hospital. Him, like, being rough for her could have easily made her go into an asthma attack. And he could have easily just, like, he probably didn't touch her. We don't even know. He probably just ran away like, oh my God, let me run. And then also I'm like, she had a pull-up on. That's also sick. Like,
Wow.
that's the saddest part, that she had a pull-up? Come on, like, how could you even do that?
They don't care. They're focused on one thing.
I feel like a trigger warning for all of this.
It is a big trigger warning. I think the pull-up is really just besides the point. When you cross the line to say, hey, this part of your, like, I'm going to take this part of your body, like, there is something seriously mentally wrong with you. And I don't apologize for saying that.
Because it seemed like, okay, we could say that he probably did take her. I don't know if he had a car around that time. It doesn't say. But he could have easily said, hey, like, let's go. I'll take you there. Because it seemed like that's what the person did. And they kind of remind me of the Alexa Patterson case, where we said that someone she knew could have easily kidnapped her.
Right.
So it seemed that that person lured her away. Somebody she know, because it seemed like everybody knew her. But I was wondering, the police were talking to so many people in the neighborhood. How nobody saw nothing?
Exactly. How did they miss him?
Right.
And where was he during all of this?
He was a neighbor, so I don't know what part neighbor he was, but he was like part of the neighborhood. So they had to see, like, whoever lived across from her, because I know where my family's from, like, the older people would sit on the porch and they would watch everything. You always got that one neighbor that knows everything that goes on their block. And for that person not to know anything,
Right.
that's shocking to me. Because you let them search your home and all that. You care that much. So it's like, how y'all didn't see her go missing? She was playing in her front yard. The houses was close together. Someone had to see something. Because she didn't scream. That's one thing. She didn't scream. She was like willing to go with them.
Yeah, she didn't fight back. So, yeah, I mean, she knew her abductor.
Hearing him, you can't tell me otherwise it wasn't him. Because he started in middle school. Middle school?
Yeah.
And he probably thought Shy Shy was an easy target.
I mean, hands down, he fits the profile unless they had somebody else. But I don't know. And then, too, like, I feel like the technology nowadays is a little bit better in figuring out cases. I know you mentioned that a farmer had
Amount of red. Like, he thought it was somebody dead in his yard.
yeah, and I know that old trick where they say, "Oh, when you bury a body, you put like a
Dead animal.
on
Because the
top."
dog wouldn't smell
Yeah,
it.
so like I don't know if that practice was already being used and they didn't know.
Well, when they dug it up, it wasn't nothing. It was just like some red clay. It was like yard work in there.
Oh,
But to me, if it is Kendrick and how old he was at 18, I feel like her body could be found if they go to somewhere he's familiar with. Because they did look around everywhere, but I'm like, somewhere that he will take her, like somewhere, like, it's a spot that he would just hang out with. Because the middle school case, I don't know, they don't really look into his cases because it's really hard. But I wonder, like, where did he, hurt that other little girl at?
yeah. And the thing about it too is it was in the country, right? So they probably had farm animals.
Right.
I don't know if you know, but pigs will eat anything.
Anything. That's why I don't eat pork.
Well, yeah, I should probably get off of it too. It's just so delicious. The bacon. It's just the bacon. But they will eat anything. If you throw something in there, it's going to be gone.
So, I mean, this one case that kind of, I feel like it's a lot of cases that like I'm working on and seeing about that breaks my heart. But I don't know, because this one, it hits me a little bit.
Yeah.
Because all the medical issues she went through is for somebody just to easily take her. And she was the most little beautiful little girl ever. Like, I saw her like, oh my God, my ovaries. I was like, no more kids. But it's sad that this case is not very popular, and also that it's not a lot of information out there on it. It's like, I had to really look for her case. And I'm like, that's sad to say. Because I have seen other cases that like, bam, bam, information. But with hers, it wasn't. So hopefully this episode can bring more light to her case, to reopen it and try to look at him. Because sometimes police can go back at Kendrick, even though he's in jail for life. They can say, hey, we won't charge you. Just tell us where the body at. Try to negotiate with him a little bit.
Yeah, bring some kind of justice. Like, obviously you can't reverse what happened, but you can at least give some kind of
Closure.
closure. Yes. You can bring some kind of closure to the family.
But you could say it was a different person. I personally feel like it is someone that she knows because everybody was close. So it's like she knew everybody. So it wasn't hard for her just to go away because her sister said she assumed it was somebody that she knew that took her.
And then she was waiting for her sister. So, like, she knew not to go away too far.
Right. And I'm sorry. Like, I don't want to be mean when I say this about the sister because I feel like she probably blamed herself. But I always wonder why she went and got gas first and then came back and got her sister. Why she didn't get her, because they was at home together. Why she just didn't go to the gas station with her sister and then, go to the game.
Yeah.
Because I don't like driving. That's a lot already for me. That always make me like question a little bit why her sister didn't let her go with her to the gas station and then just drive to the game.
Unless she's a suspect. I don't see it.
I don't see it either. Like, we're not calling her a suspect, but or she could be meeting her little boyfriend when she want her sister around.
All right.
Like, I mean, because like Sandra didn't want you around when she was meeting her boyfriend.
Look, I regret going to some of those meets. Like, I can still hear the making out session in my ears. It's disgusting.
So probably that's why she probably didn't take her little sister. She like, I'm gonna go. That's why she probably did. Like, she probably like, oh, I'm gonna be my boyfriend right quick. So this case is just, I felt like because we don't have information, because a lot of podcasts are like, hey, you just can't look at one suspect or like a suspect that everybody believe it is. And I feel like we really don't do that.
Yeah.
But it's hard when you don't have a lot of information. Like, if this was already a murder case or like we already know what happened to the person, it's easier that way. We can like, oh, okay, we kind of can see it. But this one, it's like, it's a mystery. We don't know what happened. We just have to guess what happened.
Yeah.
And that's why we're the Lesbian Detectives, because we're detectives without the badge.
Yeah. I just want to know why he didn't get interviewed.
Right.
Why didn't they question him?
Because I would have questioned him.
He fit the description.
And even when they was looking for him, they looking around why he wasn't like a suspect. Because if I am a detective and I see this young boy was in jail for raping as a middle schooler,
And he lives right by her.
I'm going to look at him. And then when he was, breaking in homes and raping younger women, the ages was 11 to 18.
Yeah, he fits the description.
And it's like, then he kidnapped them. So that could be how he did Shy. I mean, she was in that age. She was in third grade. So she was not close, because third grade is like, what, 9? Well, she was turning 9.
How many years after or time after Shy disappeared did he get arrested?
He was 18 when she went missing, and he was 20 when he got caught with other little girls. So 2 years.
Yeah.
But he got caught at 20, so he could have been doing that from 18 to 20.
Or since he was in middle school.
Right, and he just didn't get caught. Because one thing, Law and Order, I always say, look at the person first victim, because that's the case that will make the biggest mistake on. Because each time they're learning how to get better at it.
They're perfecting their art.
Right. So I feel like if they look at that first case that he was in, they will solve everything.
Yeah. And then whenever they charged him, I wonder if they asked him if there was more victims and kind of what happened with that.
You know what? I don't know. Because when I tell you, when I was like looking at this case, I never even heard about. But I didn't even think of him until like I read like an article about it. I would put it in the description. That's when you see about him. I'm like, whoa, where did he come from?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't even mention him. But like, I mention him because he was part of our neighborhood. He was close by. The mama said, I feel like people didn't mention him because the mama said she didn't believe it was him. But I'm like, mama, Veronica.
Yeah.
Let me talk to you.
Exactly.
Everybody a suspect.
Yeah.
Everybody a suspect. Because I feel like everybody a suspect because we really don't know who people are.
Yep.
You don't know who people are. I be scared with not scared, I don't let certain people watch my child because I don't know them.
Exactly.
You got to be, You have to protect your child like it ain't nothing else. And we don't know how people are behind closed doors. They can be smiling and happy, but then close behind the door, they could be the devil. We don't know.
Yeah, there was another TikTok video that I saw.
Shout out TikTok.
And it was this lady, she worked at a correctional facility. And her superior didn't really like her. It was a men's jail. Her superior didn't really like her dealing with a lot of the tough stuff, right, with the guys. So he would kind of give her more like lighter stuff.
Could be a trigger warning on this part.
It's a trigger warning.
Okay.
So she had to do a lot of office work, but sometimes, you know, she had to fill in. Like she had to be a CEO. And he sent her with all the rapists, child molesters, all of that. She says she went in there thinking like, whoa, like, why would he send me over here? Like, these are, you know, really bad guys. I mean, to me, that's one of the worst things that you could possibly do. And she said that they were all so nice.
Wow.
She said that they would like volunteer, like, oh, can I get this for you? Hey, can I do this? She's like, almost didn't want to believe it. Like, you know, how could they, like, what did they do? She's like, I knew what they did, but I had to see it on paper. She's like, you're not supposed to do that, but I just had to know. She's like, I read the whole file and I was just like, how? You know, a lot of these people that commit these crimes will put on a different face. But yeah, I mean, you never know. That's why you should never trust
anybody.
You never know.
You never know who they are, really. Child molesters are very charismatic because they have to. They have to, some have to get the charm, they have to charm the parent.
Yep.
To get the parent close to them.
Yep.
And then they have to charm the kid. Because when a kid see like the parent, like, oh, the parent's like cool with them and safe around them, the kid will let that guard. Some kids will. Some kids will like, nah, I still don't trust you. But they also say that kids are the most like, you should watch how a kid is around somebody because the kid will really tell you who they are.
And then what's so sickening is like they even have like the guidebook or something like that. And they say that they go after broken families, one parent households or kids that don't have self-esteem. And it's just like, love your child, show them, you know, that this world is not all cookies and rainbows.
Yeah.
And to always be vigilant. Don't trust anybody. Always ask questions. If they feel a certain type of way, like go with their gut instincts, speak up, let somebody know. You're there to protect them.
And also have a code word with your kid. My mama had a code word with me. When, say, my grandma was picking me up from school, if my grandma didn't say the code word, even though I knew this was my grandma, I'm like, this is my grandmama. But my grandma didn't say the code word was like, say purple. I'm like, grandma, what's the code word? And she didn't say, like, because mama always kind of switch it around a little bit, depends on who picked me up. Because she would say, hey, this is the code word. And if they didn't say the code word was purple, I'm like, no, like, my mama don't know I'm going with you. Like, I knew as a kid, like, I'm like, hey, what's the code word? If they didn't give me that code word, I wasn't going with them. And it never happened. Everybody always in the code word. Because I was watching true crime with my grandma at the age of 5. So I was very, like, I was that kid, like, dun, 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 dun. I was nervous as a kid. I would, like, freak out. Like, if we was going to the park, I'm looking, like, left and right, like, okay. Like, I tell you, like, hey, check your surroundings. Because I watched true crime. Yeah. So we actually have a shout out. The podcast is called Murder and Cocktail. And I feel like that is the perfect name because I love a good true crime and I also love a good cocktail. So
oh yeah, especially when, I mean, it gets you going. You're feeling good. Have you ever even heard of like high stories? Like, I don't know, it just opens up your mind.
Yeah.
Somewhat. Murder and Cocktail is a true crime podcast that combines chilling crime stories with expertly mixed drinks. In each episode, the hosts delve into a specific case ranging from notorious serial killers to lesser-known mysteries. They offered a detailed exploration of the events, motives, and aftermath, while mixing a themed cocktail that ties into the episode. The hosts take a conversational yet insightful approach, discussing the facts in an engaging, sometimes darkly humorous, and always intriguing manner. Whether you're a true crime enthusiast or just enjoy a good story with a drink in hand, this podcast offers a unique and entertaining experience.
And I love this podcast, guys. I mean, Murder with Cocktail, and you making me a drink too.
Throw a
God.
little steak dinner in there too.
Right. And we already know my favorite drink is lemon drop martini, guys. My friend got me into it. I love them. So please check out Murder and Cocktail. Tell them Sierra and Liz sent you. We are on all major podcast platform. Give us a like, a 5-star, comment, review.
Send us your case suggestions.
And also tell us your theories on the case. We would love to hear it. But also, we would love to hear all your comments about how we did and stuff like that. But please, don't be too mean. I'm very, very sensitive.
Same.
But if you do, you can go check our email and send it there. I'll probably read it and I'll probably cry. Be nice.
All right. And this is Lesbian Detectives. I'm Elizabeth.
I'm Sierra, and we are signing out.
Lesbian Detectives. Unsolved cases. She's still missing. Yeah, they haven't found her yet. Well, let's talk about it.
They say he vanished without a trace. Could it be a psychotic break or a tragic accident? Police don't know where the body went. Unsolved murders, body still missing. That's unheard. Where's the witness? Lesbian detectives, what's going on? City on high alert, this out the norm. He did what, the who? Man, that ain't real, these crimes ain't true. Then come uncover these theories with us. We live right now, tuning in is a must.
Right now, Lesbian Detectives. Lesbian Detectives. We about to start the show, so get your popcorn ready, let's go. Pay attention to the message I present to you, the Lesbian Detectives.